Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming, Diablo 4 and your ultimate guide to Day 1 Vessel of Hatred. We were able to play a review version of the game a little bit early, and as we've learned in our new season, there's honestly an overwhelming amount of stuff to do and many new system changes. This video then is aiming to tell you what to do, but also when, essentially your ultimate progression path guide. If you want more information on any of these topics to a very detailed level, we'll also have videos out on that or coming soon over the next days to explain things more in depth. With that said, here's what you need to do and in what order for solid efficiency and the best overall experience. As a returning player, you'll be level 1 in a new season like normal, except you'll have a whole new campaign for this DLC to complete. This is going to be your first priority, but the difficulty you actually do it on is important. In the past, we would just push it as high a level as we could possibly get it to maximize the XP, the massive XP increase as well as the golden drops. It's all very nice, but in this version of the game, it's actually not worth it. While it's true that on hard you're getting 75% more experience from monster kills, most of your leveling XP is going to come from the campaign quest hand-ins. As you can see, they provide like a massive chunk of XP, like more than anything else you're going to get. And this is completely unaffected by what difficulty you're playing in, so there's actually no real reason to go beyond normal or hard as a maximum while you're doing the campaign. All it's going to do is slow you down from getting to that hand-in, the big chunky XP. And if you want to be really efficient, well then you want to get to that hand-in as quick as possible. There are going to be better XP rewards than doing campaign quests like nightmare dungeons, the undercity and other stuff that being on higher difficulties for monster XP increases is then actually worth. However, that's not to say you shouldn't be using normal XP increases, but there are new ones. As a reminder then, you have the first level of an elixir. This will increase your experience gain by 5%, so we want something like that running at all times. But just as before, you can visit an alchemist and then go to craft elixirs, basic elixirs, and make yourself one. The cheapest one is going to do the job, so you should always at least have one. Just remember though, once you reach advanced elixirs, these are worth 8% XP increase compared to 5%, so are worth using once you have them unlocked. But as you can see, there's a new item here. Opal of gold, of equipment, of torment, and there's also a green one for resource too. As you can see, this will increase your XP gain by 15% for 30 minutes. That is almost double a level 2 elixirs XP, so it's pretty insane, and you're going to want these and want them running the whole time you're leveling. Obviously they reward different stuff, like this increases the gold you get, this increases the equipment drops, this helps with boss summoning materials. You get them from a few sources, but the main one you're going to find is the actual event itself, the Realmwalker. By completing these events, you get pearls, and you can even choose what kind you get by, the choice you make as you begin it. A very tame rundown of what it is it's an event that appears on the map at times. You head over there as it's starting, you find the Realmwalker, you kill stuff around it until the bar's full, defeat the Realmwalker, and go into the portal that it opens. Shortly into that, you'll be choosing what kind of pearl you're going to get, based on what you're willing to put in. Complete the full run then, you'll get your pearls, and then you'll have some to actually work with for your faster leveling. So throughout all of your leveling experience, just make sure you've got elixirs and the Realmwalker pearls going as much as possible. So, complete the campaign on normal or maybe hard if you really want, and you'll be brought to roughly around level 45 or thereabouts. I actually ended around 53, but I'd spent quite a bit of time doing other content inefficiently. This could be worth it for you though. For example, early into the campaign, you'll come here, which is called the Den. And as you can see, you're going to find your mercenaries here, Sabo, Vayana, Rahir, and Aldkin. Through the campaign, you're going to get probably the best one overall, at least while you're leveling and gearing up, which is Rahir. But the other three, you're going to have to go out and actually unlock. So once you reach the Den and get Rahir unlocked, you'll have these new icons on your map, these purple icons and purple circles to go complete a short storyline with each mercenary. You should pause the campaign once you're at that point to go unlock a second mercenary. The reason for that is you want to fill this slot, the reinforcement slot. Look at Vayana here. She's giving me this skill, Bloodthirst. Every 22 seconds she's popping in and giving me 10% attack speed. But then on the left, we also have XP. This is filling up their rapport bar. And as you can see, this gives them new skill points to work with their skill tree, which is important, but also lots of actual gear rewards, which are well worth getting. And you're going to unlock the bartering system, which is one of the best ways to get early targeted gear, say a higher eye level weapon, or aspects that you're currently hunting that would be great during the gearing up or leveling up process. This is absolutely fantastic as a new source of getting gear, and kind of like gambling, because when you restock it, it refreshes all your options and you can pick up stuff literally that easy. It's incredible. So essentially you want at least 2 mercenaries unlocked. That'll be Rahir and then the supporting reinforcement of your choosing. Because they level up and get rapport as you do, you want at least 2 going to get that as efficiently as possible. Here's my little tip though. I recommend Rahere as your main mercenary. He comes with Valiance, which will help negate some damage you take, provide unstoppable knock enemies down every 30 seconds. With Ground Slam, he'll regularly slam the ground and slow enemies in an area. This gets better as we enhance it. Just below this, I recommend Rahere's Aegis, which is giving you 15% resistance to all elements, very important in the early game, and will really matter late game too. Finally, I recommend Bastion as the other skill. Regularly, he'll put a bubble down that while you're standing in it, he redirects 90% of the damage that you would take to himself for 5 seconds, also granting unstoppable. Lastly, when you get inspiration, it all becomes insane. The ground slam is now a damage increase, those affected by it, and the Bastion bubble while you're standing in it, that's a big damage increase too. So Rahere is really hard to beat. The reinforcement is going to be up to you. Look for a skill that's going to give you a relevant benefit, like attack speed in my rogue. At very least, I'd like you to be aware of Sabo the Bounty Hunter though. His base skill is also a passive. He regularly uses it and reveals the location of enemies on your map, but also nodes for gathering, like iron chunks and herbs and so on. This can be incredibly helpful while you're leveling up, so that you have those to keep upgrading your potion, crafting elixirs, and upgrading your gear when relevant. Particularly good in a Helltide, where some of those, herbs and such to gather are very potent. So let's say you've now finished the campaign and you're over level 45 or something like that. It's time now to swap to the highest difficulty you can function on. That will be either expert or penitent. Make sure you're functioning well on it though. Like if you swap to penitent and you can barely exist, it's not worth it. But if you're fine, cool. After the campaign, you'll be introduced to a new questline called Deeds of a Champion, and this is a really clever way for them to introduce all the new systems outside of the campaign to you. So initially they'll be like, hey, the Whispers tree is a thing, go do some Whispers. Great. But then they'll direct you to unlock the Undercity and then eventually the Citadel. And also at this point, it's a good idea to get all of the Mercenaries unlocked. That's what I would recommend at this point. Complete the Deeds of a Champion questline and you'll be slowly introduced to all of the new systems and the ones that you're familiar with too. When you get all your options going, that's when things start to speed up. After you've done that, you'll be easily over 50 plus. So it's time for me to tell you about the terrible truth. With the new region, Nahantu, there is indeed a new Renown to gather. So from that, you're going to get a skill point, potion capacity, a skill point, paragon points, and max opal count, which means, at very least for this region, we're going to have to do it again. While leveling through the campaign, you're going to be in that area anyway, so there's a high chance you're going to get your first and maybe even second tier naturally. But it is worth at this stage, when you're over 50 plus and kind of working your way to 60, to intentionally get this done. Do some Whispers in the region. Unlock the whole region, get the waypoints, do some side quests, get the strongholds done. Do anything that provides renown as efficiently as you can to its completion, so that you never have to do this again. Your alts will have it done immediately this season once you do it once, so yeah, get it done. But while you're here, I should probably recommend you do the season journey. At very least, I recommend chapters 1 and 2 that you should be able to do during the campaign or before you hit 60. These rewards are going to be useful consumables as well as getting you some gear and aspects to actually run. Importantly, this will also give you greater favor, which will help push the battle pass further so that you can work on your season blessings. Naturally, what you want to push to its maximum first is going to be the Urn of Aggression as always, to maximize the XP you get from monster kills. As you can see, it gets pretty crazy. After that, it's relevant to what content you're doing. So if you're about to do a bunch of, say, gambling with opals, you could do the Urn of Curiosities. If you're doing some Infernal Hordes, make sure that's as high level as you can get it. But on the right, overall, the passive thing you should have going is the rate you earn Zentarum Remnants, because there is indeed a new rep system. You'll find it here in Zabenzet via the icon for the Quartermaster. Very familiar, it's basically a bounty board to show your standing, and as you can see, we get some pretty decent rewards as we go, materials especially, and then it gets very juicy in the later stages. So getting this done earlier is better than later, and so that's why I recommend that season blessings after the XP one. At this point, you should be pretty damn close to 60. If you aren't, then I would suggest doing some new nightmare dungeons. There are no longer like tiers 1 to 100 in nightmare dungeons, it's just whatever difficulty mode you're on. So let's say you're on Torment 1, you're doing Torment 1 level nightmare dungeons. So you do them on the highest difficulty possible to maximize the XP. They're a great source of loot in general, but also I recommend the Undercity, which I'll explain a little bit more in a moment. Once you're actually at level 60 then, it's time to do the most important thing, which is go unlock Torment 1 by completing a Pit tier 20. To do this is pretty straightforward, your leveling build should be fine, it's not overly difficult by any means. Now that you're in Torment 1 and level 60, it's time to start building up your gear, your paragon points and all that good stuff. In Torment 1, you can potentially get the best drops. In higher levels of Torment, you're more likely to get get them. So Torment 1's like the baseline for endgame and level 60+. So remember to do realmwalkers whenever you need to maintain the right buff. The XP is still relevant here for your paragon leveling, but the specific stuff you might need, like that could be gold increases, materials, gear drops, or even boss materials, they're going to help you get that, so have the right one going when you can. As a reminder then, try to do specific content to get to higher levels of the chapter, to get more season blessings, and the hefty rewards that come from this. Here's all the stuff you can do then at this stage. Nightmare dungeons. These are going to be great paragon XP, but also great loot drops to get you proper gear to work with and really advance to a full build. Alongside glyph farm, because lots of the elites are going to drop glyphs here and get you started with that. Nightmare dungeons aren't giving glyph XP, but it is a great place to get the glyphs to drop. Alternative to that, we'll be doing whispers, which is still going to be good paragon XP and good gear drops as well, allowing you to choose specific stuff where possible. And yes, you might also have glyphs drop here. I'll also reference the Helltide because of course you can get specific gear pieces by targeting the right chest. Like if you really need a chest piece, then you could go to Helltide to get that. For glyph XP itself, to raise the ranks of them because that has changed. This is where you do pits, that's what it's for. But I don't massively recommend it at this stage in early Torment 1 because you get a lot more glyph XP for your time in higher tiers than Torment 1 options. Obviously, feel free to go for it though if you found the ideal glyph you were looking for and you want to level it now. In regards to Infernal Hordes, they're still here and arguably they're incredible, especially if you go for the right pearl buff during it. I would recommend you save your compasses then for higher Torment tiers than tier 1 because the rewards I feel are too good to waste on lower Torment levels. The other two options that are new though are Undercity and Citadel. The Undercity is great XP for paragon leveling, but all the different rewards you can get by putting in the right tribute could be insane. Some of these tributes give you guaranteed ancestral potential. Some of them have guaranteed gear with high skill and passive ranks. There's going to be good mythic unique chances on some, and even rune farming, which we're certainly going to want. All of this is tied to the tributes you have, what you apply, based on what you're after currently. For us though, at this stage, you're not going to be swimming in all of the best tributes, they're different difficulties and, rarities. So you just use what you can, especially if it's relevant and what you need right now if you got the right tribute drop. That brings us here to the Nexus, where the Citadel actually begins. This is a great hub because it has most of everything you want in one place. Here you're going to find 3 wings on a weekly cooldown. As you can see, we have the Enclave of Strife, Souls, and Zagral. By completing the 3, you get a big hefty reward, and that's something you do once a week. So at this stage, you want to make sure you've at least got your weekly clear, essentially replacing or comparable to doing a weekly clear of each of the world bosses. And not only will this be much more interesting than doing your weekly world boss kills, but that reward at the end is going to be much more worth your time. I got multiple uniques, ancestral gear meaning greater affixes, and greater affixes on uniques at that. So yeah, really good rewards. The Citadel is a multi-person activity. There needs to be 2 of you at least because of some of the mechanics they have in there. So use friends or the looking for group system and get your weekly wing clear as soon as you can. But yes, overall your goal is to prep your build to push the pit levels and get into Torment 2 reasonably soon. Here you can comfortably farm with getting better rewards without it also being overly too hard too. After that we aim for Torment 3 when your build has really come online with tempers and more commitment. Obviously we think it's quite easy to get overwhelmed by the huge amount of options and ways to farm right now and the huge amount of things you actually need to farm in general. So I hope this overview has given you a good idea of everything to do and when, and maybe you'll refer to this later on when you need to remember what's next. Once again though, I will remind you that we're going to have in-depth guides for damn near everything in the next few days to look out for. But for now, I've been Hollow, you've been you, enjoy the DLC, and thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.